as Queen Creek continues to grow, it's growing right now, it's going to continue to grow. Many believe there's another boom right around the corner getting ready to invade Queen Creek with new growth. And in that, there's always balances that have to be struck between a developer's needs and their private property rights of owning a property versus other people from the town that may say, no, we need to preserve more open space, or no, we need more businesses in this area, or we need some industry in this area, and all those different dynamics that come into play that you as council members will have to deal with and have to find and strike that balance. So the question to you is, again, as Queen Creek continues to grow, what are your recommendations for smart growth? How are you going to handle that as a council member, and what is your vision for that? Let's start right over here with Mr. Robinson.
As recommendations for smart growth, I definitely am a proponent of a balanced community. The general plan that we have could always use a little tweaking here and there, but I think if we adhere to the general plan with some adjustments here and there, that would be the best balance for our community. We should promote housing developments that are in the best interest of the community and not always in the best interest of an individual. I feel that the town should get more proactive, involved with the developers to help them understand what the community needs as opposed to what they want to sell us. Sometimes it seems like we're getting all large housing developments, 1 acres, larger housing lots, and near the commercial centers and employment centers, we really need higher density housing to provide us with the rooftops and the people that can support the businesses. I went to a development seminar, and the higher density housing does provide additional revenue and is less expensive for the town to maintain. It kind of is counterintuitive, but that's how it actually works out. Employment in the area, having housing near, higher density housing near our commercial and employment areas will give us opportunities and more customers for the businesses in our area. And I definitely want to retain our mixed use commercial and employment areas that seem to be getting nibbled at very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. Mr. Chesley.
I'm sure there's not a perfect plan. I didn't come to run for office to change everything. I actually believe that the council is making some good decisions on how they're putting their plan into focus. But I believe that as we become more popular and have these nice homes, we're going to get more and more people. And I'm back to my soapbox again. We need more businesses to help with the people, because the taxes from the people will not sustain us. Most of the taxes that we pay on our property go to schools. I used to know these numbers when I was changed. It used to be about 96%, I think it's about 86% now, off of your tax goes to schools. And so our property tax doesn't help us a lot here. But we need to have a plan, and the mix is, I agree very much with the mix. We have to have things that counterbalance and help each other grow. I hope that that this smart growth will actually happen, because we are going to grow, and if we're not smart, it isn't going to work.
Thank you, Mr. Chesley. Councilmember Wheatley.
While serving on the town council, I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of residents that have completely opposing views on how Queen Creek should be developed. Some believe Queen Creek should stay very small, very low density. Others believe we should have a thriving Manhattan with a Saks Fifth Avenue going down Ellsworth Road with very high density. So with that, we have the perfect solution. We have our voter-approved general plan. And our voters have come together and agreed. And with this general plan, we have zoning, specific zoning for areas, commercial, residential, industrial, recreational. And what's interesting, as a town council, we've been inundated by developers that have the same common theme. They want to change our employment areas to residential. What that does is it creates a massive number of homes and no jobs. In turn, what this causes, it will cause an increased strain on our town services, our police, our fire, utilities, etc. Two, it also continues to have our commute times rise for our residents. They're traveling outside of Queen Creek for their jobs. And as well as three, the town will continue to lose the sales tax revenue that we desperately need to balance our budget as a town. So with that, if I'm reelected, I will fight irresponsible growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Ms. Turvey.
All the different perspectives. As far as smart growth, there has to be the common sense behind and a balance with the general plan and the current market. So if we have a general plan that was put into place, 20 years ago, things have changed. And so as I've reached out to the business community and I've talked to different businesses from restaurant owners to doctors to developers to commercial industrial landowners who want to put those types of businesses into place, just the common thing I hear is that it's just darn hard to get it done and to make it happen, and that there's great ideas out there, but what does the market sustain? And so in order for us to have a thriving community, we have to bring in the businesses and the balance of the homes that the market is calling for and asking for. It's highest and best use, it's economics 101, zoning law 101, and it's great to have a great idea, but in that balance of a great idea, it's not about the developers bad and good, or the commercials bad or good, or the people and those who want houses, or none of that is about that. It's about what is the market calling for, what is it asking for, and how do we thrive? Because in the end, that's the way that we're going to have our most success in our community. That is the smartest growth. If we go out and we have a general plan and 6 analyses later, this residential piece of property will not, or this commercial industrial piece of property will not be sustained in our community because we have 8 times more parcels of industrial than we can sustain, it doesn't make sense to say we're going to have that be industrial. Because guess what? An industrial company cannot come in and make a profit, and it's just going to sit there. So my thoughts are to work as a community, work together with what the market is calling for and what our general plan goes.
Thank you, Ms. Turvey. Councilman Baldwin.
I always think I know I'm coming up next and then I don't. Smart balanced growth. Well, that's something that over the past 4 years that since I've sat on council that we've all agreed upon that. We do have the general plan and the council uses that as a guide. Staff uses that as a guide. That is voter approved. However, this council knows that times are changing and the community is changing, and so we take each plan as it comes before us for full value for what it is. This council really takes a lot of consideration when it comes to somebody saying that, well, the developer wants to, add 3 times as many homes is what the general plan allows just because they want to make money. We realize as council that they have a business to run, right? I mean, they're a developer, that's what they're in business for, so that's their business. We look at that as their business and we respect that. However, we work for you. We are elected by you. So what is the best fit for the community? And that's really what the council looks at is, okay, this is a great plan, but does it fit in Queen Creek? And what do the studies tell us? And what is the general plan telling us? We have to have balanced growth, because as Councilmember Wheatley said, we can't have a bunch of rooftops come in because, one, we don't have public safety to provide for those residents if they come in the masses. So to me, smart growth is about bringing your residents in, is about bringing our businesses in, and then folding in our public safety, folding in our infrastructure, folding in our water. To me, that's what balanced growth is. You've got to have a full circle of things that create and make your community grow, and we need to have those grow together. We can't have one grow and then try to catch up with the other stuff. So to me, smart growth is that we're doing that together, we're working together, we're working with the development community, which this council has done a really great job doing, and that's what we'll continue to do as we move forward.
Thank you, Ms. Farrakhan. Councilmember Gill.
I love this question. So, smart growth. In my day job, I actually do work for Intel over in Chandler, and I'm a strategic program manager. My former military days, I was an intelligence officer. In both of these roles, you have to think long-term, think strategically. You have to look at data. You have to take different opinions. And as the military taught me, the best plan is one that's able to evolve and change, but does so in a very smart, intelligent way. And that's what I've always tried to do in my time on council as I've looked at these various changes to the general plan that was mentioned. The voters approved it in 2008, and it's a fantastic document. If you've not seen it, please do go check it out. It sets out that long-term vision for what we think would be good land use areas around our town. But it is just a vision document. We'll be going back out to the voters again in the next 2 years to update and get voter approval again. So it's designed to evolve and change. That said, it is the voice of the voters, and so we should start from an important position looking at that. As I've looked at 2 cycles now of general plan amendments where changes have been requested, I've approached them the way that I approach my day job, and that is you take a look at the data, you take a look at the facts, you do listen to your constituents, you listen to the residents, you listen to the professional recommendations of staff, you do listen to the developers to understand what their perspective is, and you roll all of that together, and that is ultimately what we as the elected officials then have to take into account, because ultimately growth is good for Queen Creek. Seeing a bunch of vacant land sit for the next 50 years, I don't believe is in the best interest of our residents. So we want to see a density of housing come in, again, providing the customers for the business owners. We also want to see the good industrial employment uses in the appropriate areas that we've set aside specifically for those things. So how do I handle smart growth? It's listening to stakeholders, it's listening to you, it's listening to our residents, it's listening to the business people who are developers, and then putting all of that together into a good, comprehensive decision that we can support. That's how I handle smart growth.
Thank you, Mr. Gadd.